Well, good evening, Lincoln. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I know that many of you stood in line for a long time.
So, Congressman, in your final town hall this year, which you held after this bill, the One Big Beautiful Bill as it was known, officially passes.
I want to go right into this bill because I know this is something a lot of people have questions about. Okay, let's start here.
That's when voter anger seems to reach a fever pitch.
So how can you justify taking health care away from 78,000 Nebraskans?
As I explained before, this bill protects Medicaid for the future.
People are asking you about cuts to Medicaid.
Why did you cut SNAP and health care research?
We do not have unlimited money in the United States.
To food stamps, SNAP.
And I see this new bill that transfers trillions of dollars of wealth from working class Americans, people that are sitting in this room.
And you worked really hard to make the case that this legislation is good for your district.
It would have been a $1,600 tax increase to every Nebraska family. That is a true middle-class tax cut. Next slide, please.
But still,
the Republican Party, now more than ever, represents the heart and soul of the working class.
You're booed.
How much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
You're jeered.
Fascists don't hold town halls with open question and answer series.
But there's value because I think it's cathartic for the people that are so upset. And I get something out of it, you know? I see people that maybe are upset about the One Big Beautiful Bill, but they are with me on Ukraine. And I see that in the nonverbal. I see people that are worried about the future of democracy, and they are smiling when I say fascists don't hold town halls. Had I not done a town hall in Lincoln, it would have been a slap in the face to my biggest city in my district. And before each town hall, I go out and shake the people's hands coming in. Then, you know, I get a lot of feedback. And it's easy to go to these rural communities where there's more, you know, Republicans. And so to have people from Lincoln say, thanks for coming here and doing it here.
Right.
We're in Nebraska too.
This is your most Democratic corner of your district.
Yeah. I thought that's a compliment, you know, like I'm here and we're doing this.
Can I say they were thanking you, but the hate, to quote Chris Christie, was up close. It was not hard to hate up close in that room, it seems.
No, that's true. But that was maybe 100 people of the 700 that were that upset. And at no time did I ever lose my cool or my mode of operation. We just kind of went through it. And I did say going in, I said, hey, let people say their piece. I do not want people drug out of here. That is not what this is about.
Okay, next question.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm a lifetime member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
You know, I had somebody come up to me in Seward and say,
Postal Service, which I'm
you know, he's a 57-year-old postal worker.
You voted for a budget bill that cuts the Social Security supplement, which is a large portion of our benefits. And these are benefits that we've earned. We work for these benefits, okay? We're eligible to retire when we're 57, so we're not eligible for Social Security till we're 62. So what the bill that you voted for does, erases the 57 to 62 supplement that gets us to it, which is a large portion at that age of our retirement.
I'm happy to sit down with you. I'm happy to look at it. I will get the information, and then I will do my best to act on your behalf. That is my pledge to you.
We went back, we called him, we made sure we understood it, and we were able to tell him, hey, that has been resolved. He came to a town hall, and he put it on everybody's radar.
But I guess I'm still wondering what it means for constituents, for voters, when these town halls go away. If most of your party is avoiding this format, does something important get lost?
You know, like everybody does their job differently in Congress, and this fits my way that I do it. And some of my colleagues have legitimate safety issues that I don't feel like I have. That is legit. It's good for America that we have Republicans and Democrats that can spend an hour and a half in a room together. And yeah, there's some shouting and yelling, but I got the chance to say what I wanted to say. I got the chance to explain my votes. I got the chance to essentially debate with a few of my constituents, and they got the chance in their eyes to hold me accountable and to tell me how they felt.
You said in one of your town halls, you urged voters to make the town hall that you were about to embark on a model of discussion for the rest of the nation. So what do you think it says that your town halls went the way that they did about the nature of our democracy, the nature of our ability to have conversations right now? What does it say to you?
It's certainly strained, but I have more in common with those screaming protesters than I do the rest of America that thinks that politics is a hobby, doesn't affect them, and they don't pay any attention to it. Like, this is America. This is every decision I make affects somebody.
So you have kind of come to a grudging admiration for the passion that leads someone to come to a town hall like that and scream, "You're a fascist."
Of course, because they care, right?
Yeah.
There are people that can live in America and take care of their family and not give 1 ounce of thought to anything that's happening in the world other than the bubble that they live in. And the lady that's calling me a fascist is not living in that bubble. She is very invested in her beliefs and where she thinks the country's going. She showed up and she's spicy. Like, that's the town square. That's politics. That's what we do. That's like, if I think that my votes are the right votes, I should have no problem standing in the town square and defending them. And I did that.
Well, Congressman, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Representative Mike Flood represents the 1st Congressional District in Nebraska.
The Daily is supported by Bitwarden Password Manager. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our evening session of Roanoke City Council. Thank you for your patience. I'll call on our city clerk to call the roll, please.
Mr. Volleson.
Here.
Ms. Powers.
Here.
Mr. Hagan.
Here.
Ms. Sanchez-Jones.
Here.
Vice Mayor McGuire.
Here.
Mr. Nash.
Here.
And Mayor Cobb.
Here, and a quorum is present. Tonight's invocation will be delivered by the Reverend Katina Martin, pastor at Belmont Christian Church, and then I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let's pray. Ever-present God, thank you for the miracle of this day. This room is full of great leaders. We invite your presence here this evening as reports and concerns are heard. May your wisdom and innovation come forth, and may hope and love prevail. In your name, amen.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Reverend Martin. We have one public hearing this evening, and that's to receive the views of citizens on the consideration of the lease of numerous tax numbers related to parking to the YMCA of the Roanoke Valley located at 425 Church Avenue Southwest, and it's for the use of patron parking spaces with Park Roanoke. I know that we have Mr. Mann here with us tonight, but we do have one measure, an ordinance, and I'll ask for a motion and second on the ordinance, please.
Move the ordinance. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Volleson and Mr. Hagan. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance authorizing the city manager or designee to execute a lease agreement with the Young Men's Christian Association of Virginia's Blue Ridge, Inc. for the lease of city-owned property located in the city of Roanoke, designated as portions of Roanoke City official tax map numbers 1113408, 1113409, 1113410, 1113411, 1113412, 1113413, 1113512, 1113513, 1113514, 1113515, and 1113516, 1113510, and 1113511, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
A lot of numbers, thank you.
A lot of numbers.
All right, I'll invite Mr. Mann to come forward and share anything that he'd like to share. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council. This is a pretty straightforward lease for the parking spaces in front of the YMCA. This was an old lease that had been around for quite a while, and as we began to look at it, we needed to bring it into modern legal ramifications, try to get under a 5-year time frame. The original one didn't have a sunset. We also increased the price a little bit, although it is a much drastically reduced rate compared to our monthly rate. It's 147 spaces, and I'm willing to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Mayor, I just had a quick, just wanted to get some clarity on the agenda and the report. It says YMCA of the Roanoke Valley Incorporated, and then on the actual ordinance it says YMCA of the Virginia's Blue Ridge Incorporated, and just want to make sure that that's.
Yeah, those should jive.
Obviously, it should be of Roanoke, not Roanoke Valley. I believe the ordinance is correct. Is that correct? Yeah.
Mayor, the lease is with the Young Men's Christian Association of Virginia's Blue Ridge, Inc.
Okay. As long as, and that's clear in the ordinance, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that point of clarification.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to open the public hearing, and do we have any citizens wishing to be heard, Madam Clerk?
Not on this issue.
Okay. Then I will close, and I'll make sure. Any citizens? All right. I'll close the public hearing. Any additional comments or questions from council? All right, then we are ready to call the roll.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McGuire? And Mr. Nash? Mayor Cobb?
Aye, and the ordinance is adopted. Thank you, Mr. Mann. And now we move on to hearing of citizens upon public matters. We set this time aside as a priority for citizens to be heard. And if deemed appropriate, matters will be referred to our city manager for response, recommendation, or report back to council. And so, Madam Clerk, we are ready to hear citizens who signed up tonight. And
Okay.
each citizen will have 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes. The first citizen will be Brittany Doss, followed by Adam Holt. And then the last speaker, I'll go ahead with Dwayne Howard.
Okay, Adam, are you here? Come on up. Welcome.
Thank you all for letting me speak here. Want to kind of bring a situation up to you all. I live in the Mud Lake Direly area, and I have Brandon Oaks Retirement Home in my backyard, which they are currently undergoing a very large expansion. We'll have about 2 14-unit apartment buildings behind my house where I live. And I've had a conversation with Catherine Gray over at the zoning department, kind of expressing not really a frustration, but maybe a guidance for the city of how they are communicating with citizens. I received a letter from the city of Roanoke, November 20th, 2024, outlining that Brandon Oaks would like to change their zoning, and it's basically just from basically residential multifamily to residential mixed use. That's my understanding, R to RC contingent. I personally have no issue with Brandon Oaks wanting to expand, take care of their clientele and the need for taking care of people later in life. But what got me on this is I wasn't aware of this really until 4th of July. Saw the surveying, saw things go up, and that's when the questions started. And I was told that this letter that indicates a zoning change actually indicates there's a much larger comprehensive development plan that I don't work in zoning, I don't work in policy and planning. I don't know the jargon, I'm not a lawyer. And in this time of my life, we had a lot going on medically, so this wasn't my forefront, my main focus. But talking to Catherine Gray, I said, you know, I don't understand all this. This is not my world. This is not what I live in. This is not what I understand. But something that would change this very simply so your average citizen could understand it. And my understanding is at the time, we had all the plans of what Brandon Oaks wanted to do to expand. Send a picture. That's simply it. I'm gonna have a 14-unit apartment building 31 feet from my property line. I had zero say. And I don't think I would actually, I personally don't really feel like my say would probably matter much, but I might have a say. I might want to have a comment. It's all too late at this point. Per the city of Roanoke, they recommended that Brandon Oaks get in touch with all the adjacent property owners. I got nothing. They've sent 2 updates. They claim that they did not put them through the U.S. Postal Service because they didn't want them to get lost, so they put uncirculated mail in my mailbox. I never saw it. Neither here nor there, but I think if the city wants to value their residents, make them maybe feel like they're not a small fish in a big pond against much bigger fish, just a simple way to educate and inform people of what may be coming to their backyard. Send a picture of the plans, the drawings, what we're thinking about doing. And it would maybe get more people involved civically. Talking to my neighbors who have lived on the street since the 90s, there was a development push years ago from Brandon Oaks. They had meetings, they had people that created diagrams out of cardboard showing the size of the buildings. And I can tell you my neighbors now said, well, I heard nothing. You know, I talked to Catherine Gray about how to get zoning updates. You got to go online, you got to go to the website, you got to put your email in, you got to click the ones you want. That might not be great for your average person. Somebody might not be, you know, savvy in emails or things of that nature. I called Catherine Gray, I said, which one do I click on? which of all the categories do I click on? And she guided me through it. And when I talked to her about, maybe sending a picture, she's like, that was your invitation to ask questions. And I said, well, I had a lot going on at the time. I own a business. I have 3 kids. My wife and I work full time. And then we had medical stuff. I said, maybe at that, if a picture would have gotten my attention a little bit more. I'm not opposed to them wanting to rezone it and change, but I might have a say. So that's all I have to say. I think Catherine Gray said it, it's a valid point. So I thought I'd at least come to you all and talk to you all about doing a little bit more to help educate the average person. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are really good points. And I think, to your point, sometimes we don't fully understand the language of some of our letters, and that can be on us to make that better or more easily understandable.
Yeah. The
Thank
picture
you.
may be just as simple as that.
Picture sometimes answer all the questions.
Exactly. So,
Thank
you're
you
welcome. Thank you all for listening.
for taking the time
Have a
to be
wonderful
here
evening.
tonight. Thank you. Mr. Howard? Welcome.
I thought I was the third speaker.
The other one isn't here.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, honorable members of City Council, and Ms. Turner. My first question is the handicap door down on the side of the building where I parked. Does that open at some point? It wasn't open at 6:30.
It's supposed to be unlocked.
And maybe there should be a time or something on it. I don't know if you all got my email about the difficulty. I've repeatedly tried to sign on YouTube to watch city council meetings. I can't do it. Of course, I'm very technology challenged, and I've talked to a couple of other older people, and they haven't had any luck. It was nice on Facebook because you got a message that council was going to be on, and you just went in there and you clicked on it, and you're on. And when I couldn't get on today, that's why I rushed up here this afternoon and, try to get in to be able to speak. So I hope maybe something could be looked into about that as a possibility. I'm curious about the narrowing of streets. I understand about the designs and everything like that. I think I mentioned this to you recently at a previous council meeting about it's forcing people parking more over the curbs and on the sidewalk. And, over time, that kind of weight is going to chip away at the curb, chip away at the sidewalk. And I can't tell you how often I call the police, not just in my neighborhood, but dealing a lot in Round Hill. And is it Oakland Boulevard off Williamson Road, where it's very narrow now, and a lot of parking on the street. And someone told me there was a gentleman that uses a wheelchair. And, this is just terrible if person pushing a baby in a stroller or something that might have to go out to the street, to get around. And I'm talking to the police chief and a couple of lieutenants about this. Let's see, what do I have? Does the concern of the in Southeast, there's just so many problems. One of the big issues that's going on is the set outs for bulk pickup, big items and stuff like that. The problem is that so many people set this stuff out after trash day. And then I've learned from solid waste that if I've called them on Friday to hopefully get something picked up, they don't send anyone out on Friday to tag these set outs. And then the other thing that I've seen with the set outs is I think it's a pink tag and they just post it on the set out itself. Well, that's not adequate. They should take that post and put it up on the front door where people see it. It can blow off, it could get knocked off. People aren't going to be looking at the front of their trash and set outs, when they come home in the evening. And this needs to be looked at to see some correction and changes to improve this situation. I think, as I've said to you all before, and then they sit there, all through the weekend, into the next week before it's picked up. And as told you before, don't you think that most people that are apartment hunting or looking for a house are mostly coming in on weekends? And they just see these horrible trash and junk all over the neighborhood. What's their image? Are they going to want to buy a home or rent a house in Southeast? So I hope at some point there can be some looking into this to see how there might be some improvements on it. I still think the hearing in here is a problem. I wonder about if you had a microphone over here and one over here with this one, because people are looking to the side very often, as you know, when they come up to speak, and we might get a little more hearing from them. And this afternoon, it looks like your microphones are a pretty good distance from you. And as close as I was this afternoon, I wasn't hearing a lot of you. I appreciate your service, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate it. We definitely want to make sure, I can't always tell whether this mic, how live it is, or how much it's carrying. So to the extent that we can check these.
Just one update on that. I think at the last meeting I said that the audio had been replaced. That part has not been done yet.
Okay.
It's scheduled to be completed September 17th.
Okay.
But, so it's in the works, and we're also going to get a new podium, but that won't be in September. That'll be later as well. So.
If I may, Ms. Turner, when I was sitting over here today and you spoke, I didn't hear a word you said.
Okay. So
I'll be mindful of that. Thank you.
Yeah, so just to be clear, we are getting new audio effective September 17th, and we're also getting a new podium.
A new podium?
Podium.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so.
Lowers?
I don't know, but it's new, and
Yeah.
and it's going to be accessible, I believe.
It will be.
So, thank you all. Any other speakers?
No other speakers.
All right. So there being no further business to come before us tonight, we are going to recess because we have one additional closed meeting. And then after that, we will come back in and certify the closed meeting and then adjourn. Thank you all for coming tonight.
What is the tribes? It is incredible that it is, this tribe that manages to not be sent on the Trail of Tears in the 1830s and 40s. They've stayed there. But what is their relationship like with the government, with the business community?
Yeah, so they were a great example that will become, that becomes apparent over and over again in the book, of a people that claim Alabama as their home, and Alabama doesn't always claim them, let's say. There's this tension of they have the right to be sovereign. They have the right to run their